Hello again. This is going to be another in the standalone mini-series of tools that are pretty much exclusive to pipe repair. The problem is a blocked airway in a stem, and it can happen for a variety of reasons, from don't know what it is, it's a mystery, to glue. Somebody will attempt to fill a damage to the outside. They'll cut into the airway a little bit and then glue it, hope it doesn't get in the airway, but it does, that kind of a thing. Or once in a while a pipe cleaner will get stuck in there and you end up wiggling it so much the soft metal will break off and that's jammed in. Stuff like that. And it's a vexing problem when it happens, because no one other than a repairman, or maybe if you were in some special trade, I don't know what it would even be, like you build picnic decks or something for people, where one of these people has a long tapered drill bits, or they don't even have to be tapered, just long drill bits of any kind, and you have a heat gun or some way to straighten out the stem to run that in there, which is easy in principle but difficult to execute without messing up the stem. You're SOL. So here is a way to clear anything that I've yet to encounter blocking an airway in a stem, and you don't have to straighten it before you do it. And it goes like this. It's just a piece of high tensile steel cable, and it comes in different diameters, and you can make several of these in different diameters as well as different lengths. You could clear out a church warden stem with one of these. Now, it does require some preparation that's highly specific but not difficult if you follow the rules, so to speak. One is, don't go clipping this. You'll be surprised how tough it is, by the way. You're going to need some long side cutters to get through this stuff. But don't go clipping it before you have tinned it with solder. And what'll happen is it's wrapped under tension, and it'll all spring apart, and you'll end up with a big fluffy end, then no way to wind it back up. So tin it with solder, and tinning means just heat it to the point that when you touch solder to it, it melts and flows into the spirals of the wire. And if you look closely, you can see the blotchy silver there. It's not pretty, but it doesn't matter. And then cut it off slightly past where the bulk of the solder is, so that you have some little sharp ends to work with. And by work with, I mean you can touch it to a sanding belt sander or something like that to get it to a nice little burr on the end. And this stuff is tough enough, and you can make it sharp enough, it'll eat right through a stuck pipe cleaner. The wire in the pipe cleaners is pretty soft. It'll just go right through them. And the best way by far to turn one of these is with my trusty rusty LX Fordham, which is a low speed operation. So you gotta watch out, it'll whip around on you. So you get the thing started like so, and it's functionally identical to, and there it is peeking out the end of the slot. So it's functionally identical to just cleaning pipes, clogged sewage pipes or water pipes or anything along those lines. And again, you can have a church warden stem's 14 inches long, cut a piece of wire that long, no problem at all. So that's it. If you don't have something like this, you got to be very careful if you use an electric drill, because it's going to spin so fast. It can even hurt you. It could whip around, and that end that you trimmed up is going to be pretty sharp. So watch out for that. Get it in there first before you hit the gas. And friction, you could melt in there if you get it revved up too much. So you want to go slow. If you don't have a variable speed drill that has a very sensitive trigger and starts at 0, don't go doing that. If you just got an on-off type drill, I wouldn't recommend using it. But even there's still other solutions. It'll take you longer to get the problem cut through in the airway, but just chuck this thing like it's a floppy drill bit and do it by hand. So, oh yeah, applying solder. By the way, these, when you hear the word solder, you think soldering gun, right? A pistol but electronic circuit boards and so forth is what those are designed for. They don't put out enough heat that they'll work on something like this, at least not that I've found. But by coincidence, we smokers, most of us, have something that will work just fine. If you partake of the occasional cigar, you probably have a torch lighter. And you just set that down. It'll even stand by itself, and run that thing and let it get hot, touch the solder, you're good to go. So, and these are inexpensive, widely available. You don't need to go to a hardware store and buy an expensive torch just to use it one time. So, again, virtually no cost. Buy several feet of this cable. It's usually sold by the foot. It costs very little. And in 2 or 3 sizes, whatever they've got. And then have it on hand and cut it to length and use it as required. And then save the tool that you've made for future uses. But don't try to anticipate in advance, or you'll just end up making a lot of stuff that you really don't need. So that's it. Be on the lookout for another interesting pipe project, and we'll do another project video as soon as that happens. Take care.